All right, so we got a kind of a neat one today. We're at a fire station. We're about to, we had done some previous work here. We put a Ubiquiti, either a UDM Pro or a UDM Pro SE. Not quite sure. Put a switch in, access point, some other stuff. We're gonna be putting in a UNAS. So I just got this in finally. Took a while to come in. We finally got one. I got some hard drives. We just got them into the 21st century. Got them some laptops and docking stations, a couple of their places here. So they're kind of trying to do some upgrades to their network so they can kind of move off of these kind of some ancient machines over here. I think that one's running Windows XP, Windows 7 maybe. So kind of getting them into the 21st century. I just got into open up the network closet, and as usual, you know, network closets end up becoming the storage center for everything. So I'm gonna have to move some stuff out. This is, interesting. So this is what we did previously. We put a rack in. We put a UDM Pro, a USW Pro, patch panel, a UPS. I think they already had the UPS, so we just reused it. We kind of took care of some of this wiring that was here. This was kind of a mess prior. We cleaned all that up. So it's going to be interesting to get the UNAS into this rack. Obviously, when this was originally done, there was never any plan to do anything more. So this is a shallow rack, and I think the UNAS is exactly the same size as this shallow rack. So have to see how that works out. There's a blank space here and here, so that'll give us our 2U space that we need. So we'll have to move some stuff around and reconfigure. We should be able to get it all in there, assuming that the size works out. So we'll take you along. That's kind of what we're going to be tackling today. I think I forgot to mention it earlier. I think we also put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 5 bullets. I think there might be a AI 360 here as well. So they got a camera system here as well running off this UDM. I think we're maxed at the UDM's recommended capability for cameras, which is why I think we stopped the cameras there. There were talks of them adding some cameras and getting a UNVR, but it never got situated. So if they ever do decide to do that, we'll definitely have to swap this rack. This rack is at its limitations already, so we'll have to swap that rack to something bigger. There's not a lot of room in that closet, so I'm gonna get this configured outside of the closet. We have there's a little table in this next room. So UNAS hardware kit, pretty typical standard hardware kit for Ubiquiti. I will tell you this: I ordered 4 of these at one time, and when they ship them in boxes of 2 at a time, and they are way heavier than I was expecting. My UPS guy was not impressed. Apparently, when Ubiquiti put the label, they put it at like 15 pounds or something per box, when really it was probably closer to, I don't know, 40 pounds per box. So they were not impressed with the weight, and it shocked me as well. So if you're gonna order multiples of them, be mindful. They're heavy. Typical hardware kit. You got your screws and stuff. You got your rack brackets. The new style, like a cloth cord with the locking system on it. There's no power. There's no UI power stuff in here. There is a UPS, and I want to say maybe a 8-port splitter in there, or a surge protector, or 8-port rack surge in there. So let me get this out the box, and then we will get the hard drive slotted, get it powered up, get that ready to go. So they chose to go with can't remember. I think these are these are Seagate Iron Wolf Pro 4 terabytes. So there's four 4 terabyte drives. We're gonna set this up in RAID 10, which I think Ubiquiti on the UNAS calls advanced protection or something like that, which is their RAID 10. So they'll have 8 terabytes of drive storage with 8 terabytes of protection, which is more than enough for this department. This is a volunteer department. They are a small department. They just store, run reports and things like that. So their usage is way below this. In fact, we had quoted it with a little bit less space, but we got a better deal on the drives. They went on sale, so we ended up just buying the higher drives for them at the same cost. That's it. So four Seagate Iron Wolf Pro 4 terabyte drives, the UNAS, and we'll get that unboxed and set up. So if you ever mess with the UNVR Pros, the UNAS is to me almost exactly the same chassis. I don't think they changed a lot on it. I think this actually runs the same Linux file system, maybe with Btrfs for storage. I think it runs almost the exact same OS as the UNVR, so I assume that's why they made the cross so quick. But it'd be interesting to see in the future. I don't know if you can do it now. I didn't look it up. If you could daisy chain these things, or if they come out with some like enterprise version, like to offer more storage space and better configurations. It'd be interesting to see if they do that. So we got this UDM moved down a slot. Before we had space in them because we had the extra room, so we left space in them. It's always good to leave space if you can. As expected, this, when it is, where the rack ears would go if they went the correct way, like this, it would be pushed all the way to the very, very back of this rack. And unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to get the power in because the power's on the back. So we're gonna have to get a little creative, like I was thinking. We're just gonna have to flip. We're gonna have to flip these brackets what I would consider the wrong way, and that will allow us to extend the UNAS a little forward. It's gonna sit about right here. It is what it is. Like I said, this rack was never designed to do even remotely what we were doing. When we started with this, it was simply just the UDM for networking and a couple access points. Then later on, they decided they wanted to add cameras, etc. So we dropped the hard drive in, added cameras, put a patch panel, put a USW in, because you can see we were already hitting on, 8. So I just went ahead and just went with a 24 port PoE switch, because I knew if we were already starting to change things, I knew things were going to happen. And now, now the UNAS. So the rack is doing what it can do. If at any point in the future, like I said, they decide to add something else, or they do add more cameras and we go with a UNVR, then we'll come and we'll put a full size, or a 12U rack, or something like that, full depth rack. So we have we have the space. It's not like we can't, it just wasn't needed at the time. So if it ever comes up, we'll do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this rack, like I said, putting these brackets backwards. We'll get those mounted like that. It'll push it out a little bit, but it's gonna be perfectly fine in here. Alright, so got this racked. Like I said, I just flipped the brackets the other way, extended it out a little bit. That gives me enough room to be able to get a power cord behind it. I just happened to notice inside, why that wire would be across. Let's see what it looks like on another bay. It just seems kind of interesting. Yeah. I'm gonna have to see if make sure that tray can sit all the way back once it has a drive in it. I'm not sure. I haven't noticed that on any previous one. I don't know if it did it in shipping or what. Yeah, the rest of them, let's check this first. Number 4. since that'll be the last one we use anyway. Okay, that's just got a drive plane. Yeah, I'll have to check and see about that wire. It's awfully close to that SATA drive and power port connection. So it's awfully close. I'll check it out a little further. All right, we're gonna get the drives installed, get this powered up. We're gonna run it with a DAC cable. I'm just gonna jump from the UNAS down to the PoE switch, so that gives me an extra just 10 gig network between the two. There's nothing here they have anything past a gig, but it'll give me full bandwidth to at least locally to the switch. So drive install is pretty easy, same as in the UNVRs or even the UDM Pros. You get the same drive tray, nothing really special there. It fits 3.5. It's 3.5 and 2.5 inch drives. We got 3.5, so we'll be using this one. I can tell you this, I've done it on accident before. Make sure you take that sticker off. Sometimes when you pull the trays out, it doesn't come off. Let's see. Yeah, these are Iron Wolf Pros. Yeah, these are 4 terabyte Iron Wolf Pros, so we'll get those slotted in there and then we'll keep going. I'm gonna go ahead and install the screw. I've seen numerous of these that I've gone to that, you know, they just, because these trays are nice. They're just, they have a little latch on the side that, you know, holds the drive, you know, pretty nicely. And there's no, you're not gonna put 4 screws in the drive, but, you know, anybody could walk up, grab the drive, and then, you know, this will at least keep it in the tray for, you know, give them a little bit more of a headache. But one thing that I have always stated, or I've always said, is that I'm not sure why Ubiquiti doesn't make some type of locking mechanism for the front of this tray. You know, anybody that can get into that access closet could come in here and steal 4 terabyte drives in an instant. So I'm wondering, you know, if they ever really truly want to get into this with a, you know, a secure enterprise solution, they're gonna have to come up with some type of locking mechanism for this particular you know, drive tray, I would think. And maybe not. I mean, a lot of your servers now don't have them either, but they're usually buried behind some type of, you know, at least some type of bezel or something. So it'd be interesting to see if they come up with something like that in the future. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these drives all put in, get them screwed down, and then get them slotted in the UNAS. All right, and just like that, we've got the drives in their enclosures. I'm gonna go ahead and put a mark 1, 2, 3, 4, just in case somebody ever pulls a drive out. At least I can put them back in the same slot and hope that the RAID isn't destroyed from them yanking it out and maybe swapping them around or something. But it's a volunteer fire department, so you know, people do interesting things here from time to time. Just, you know, no ill intentions usually. They're just trying to help something along the way and get something done, and you know, they may or may not make it a bit more confusing. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mark on these 1, 2, 3, 4, so I know which slot they go in. All right, so we got our DAC cable hooked up. I just went and kind of re-looped it with the existing DAC cable for the switch. I already know this is going through here. I'm going to be moving this as soon as I can get approval to take it down. Obviously with the cameras, there's nobody at the station here, but the cameras are the thing that we have to have approval to pull this down. So once I get approval to pull this down, I'm going to actually take this out. I'm going to remake this. I'm actually going to land it on this patch panel, you know, on the back side of this patch panel, and just have a short patch cable from here to here. That way it cleans it up. We have the open spaces in this patch panel. And then if, you know, at some point, if they ever fill up all 24 of these and we need to have, you know, the internet connection as well, I'll change it again there, but it's highly unlikely. I mean, I could always land something directly to the UDM or something, or just not patch one of them in. But I will change that. So I know this bothers me too, but I will get that sorted out. All right, let's get the power connected, and then we'll set it up, test it, and then we'll get it tidied up. All right, so got it plugged in. It's starting up. We'll look and see. I don't remember what we were drawing before. I want to say this thing was. I want to say it was drawing right around 5% load on this UPS. Or about 12% load. It's coming down, roughly about 10. Likely once these hard drives spin up, it'll probably drop around. So it basically doubled the load of the UPS, adding this UNAS in, which is okay. I mean, that thing had plenty of headroom. I want to say it was, like I said, 5%. All we did was double it. So we got plenty of runtime there. At least, let's see, what does it say? At the current load, it would have 14 minutes of runtime. So that's plenty enough time to get it shut down before, you know. Which the internet here is not. I don't think this is. Yeah, this isn't fiber. So this isn't. This is probably going to likely go out when the power goes out anyway. So I mean, they're going to lose the connection coming in. So our first attempt at startup was interesting. Went through the whole estimated time remaining. Then it switched over to it's taking a little longer. Sat there for about maybe 8 to 10 minutes, and then a message came up saying, UNAS needs to restart please power cycle and try again. I've had UDMs do that before. That little it's taking a little longer to start message. So hopefully we'll let it go this time, and we'll see if it starts up. Also, when it was in that message screen, I went look on a computer to see on Unify to see if it was able to be adopted, and it was not showing up. So we'll try again, see what it does. I'll bring you back. Well, that's what I was talking about, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to power it down, pop the drives out, try to power back up and see what happens. I don't know if maybe it's trying to boot, maybe it's trying to reformat the drives. Unfortunately, there's no real good way to power this thing down other than simply just pulling the power cord. So that's an interesting thing. Alright, so let's try, we'll pull the drives, and we'll just see if maybe it'll start up with the drives out of it. Let's try that. Alright, well, we waited about 25 minutes, still came back up to the power cycle screen. So we did a factory reset, drives are still pulled. I did a factory reset, it ran through the factory reset. We're gonna see what happens next. I mean, the next option is, this thing's brand new, so the next option would be tech support, see what they can do. I really don't want to have to RMA something that we had to wait 2 months to get in stock, so we'll try. Oh, look at that. Factory reset, got it to work. Way to go. It seems weird to have to set up or factory reset a brand new device, but it could be. It might not have liked that the drives were installed upon startup. I mean, there's no instructions to tell you otherwise, and it seems only to make the most sense to have the drives in when you're setting it up, in my opinion, but who knows. All right, it's ready for setup. Let me get on the controller, the UDM, and then set it up.